welcome to Teal House Farm. Today we have a super busy day ahead of putting up tons of food. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now, and the girls and I are going to pick even more blackberries. We already have tons, and we'll show you how we're preserving those. And then I have a huge garden haul on the counter from last night. Some of it still needs to be put up, so I'll show you how we do that. And so we'll just kind of, it's fun. We'll give you kind of a look on how we preserve different things to last us all year so that our garden haul is available to us even in the middle of winter. Let's go. Blackberries, so what are we gonna do, JJ?
Take it back! Take it back!
Let's do it! Okay, so let's get to work. We have a lot to do today. Today our goal is to put up as much food as we can from the garden, and then tomorrow I have an OB appointment, and we are going to also go to Sam's Club, and we're going to do our baking supplies haul, like pantry staples haul. Because I know once the baby gets here that it's going to be really difficult to be able to go to a place like Sam's Club since it's so far away, and the only time I really go is when there's appointments, which most of the time is for Annie, but because of all the COVID regulations you can't take a baby with you, and so then we're in a hurry to get there. We went through this with Isla. You're in a super hurry to get to the city, get to our appointment, and get back home before you've dropped a feeding. So, all that to say is we're going to do our big pantry staples haul, and I'll make a video on that and put that up next week, and I'll also show you how much money that we save by buying a lot of these things wholesale and stocking up our pantry instead of buying them at our local grocery store every time we run out. So, I do this about every 6 months, and that's about where we are. So, today though, we're putting up garden hauls, because the best way to save money when you're feeding a large family is just to grow it yourself. So, today we have lots of tomatoes. We have a ton of zucchini, which we're going to put up. I also have cucumbers, there's green beans, and we have the blackberries that we just picked. We're going to can some of those things. We're going to freeze some of those things. I'll show you what we use them for. There's also peppers and onion tops. Basically, if something comes out of my garden, I do not let it rot on my counter. It's either eaten fresh or it gets put up, because what you grow this summer, even though the amounts may seem overwhelming, you can use it to feed your family all year, and it will save you so much money. So if you're up to your eyeballs in zucchini or cucumbers or something like that, don't let them go bad on your counter. Have a plan for them, and then you're going to save yourself so much money this winter when those things are not in season. Blackberries we're going to start with. The girls and I picked these this morning before it got super hot. It's almost the tail end of blackberry season, so we're not getting quite as much as we were. But basically every morning the last couple weeks we go outside and we pick blackberries. We've made already about 10 pints of blackberry jam, which is plenty. Don't make so much jam that you're not going to eat it. That's a trap a lot of people fall into. 10 of those will be great. We'll mix them in with the other jams we make, and we'll be very happy. With the rest of the blackberries, I just freeze them on a cookie sheet, and then I'm going to break them off the cookie sheet and put them in one of my reusable Ziploc bags and keep them in the freezer, and then we have them during the winter for parfaits or to mix into muffins or pancakes, or just to defrost a little bit and eat kind of half frozen. They're pretty yummy that way too. So we're going to empty this pan off, put it in the baggie, and then put our new ones on here to be frozen, and then tomorrow we'll switch them out and do this over and over again until there's no more fresh blackberries outside to pick. zucchini. My assembly line behind me is dicing it for me. I'm gonna get my jars ready. We're actually gonna can this. I will put the disclaimer up front. The USDA recently revoked canning for zucchini and summer squashes because they didn't feel that there was enough information, enough data out there to prove it was safe, not that they proved it was unsafe. So I still choose to pressure can some of my yellow squashes and zucchinis. I have a delicious squash casserole that I like to make in the winter, and the canned squash works great. If you're not comfortable canning it because of the USDA recommendations, then freezing it will also work. And I feel like the canned zucchini has a little better texture as well than the frozen one. So the girls are dicing these up for me. I'm gonna get the jars ready. We're gonna get them canned. And then I have a small zucchini that I cooked up half of it for lunch today, and I'm gonna shred the rest of that and make it into some zucchini bread and freeze that bread as well. Okay, the zucchini is finishing up in the canner. I did 13 quarts and I still have some zucchini left, and we'll show you what we're gonna do with that in a minute. But I wanted to show you some of the other things that we have going on. So sometimes with gardening, you get kind of odd amounts, especially early on. So right now the tomatoes are just starting to turn red, but I'm not getting a whole bunch, but it's more than I would eat in a week. So I've set aside some to eat this week, and then what we're gonna do with the rest is I've washed them and we're just gonna freeze them whole. This is my favorite thing to do with tomatoes. I do not worry about doing any processing of tomatoes until the gardening year is completely done and I have picked my last tomato. So by freezing them, when it's time to make our sauce and you defrost them, the skins come right off, which is great. And I actually make two kinds of sauce. I make a traditional like pizza and pasta sauce where you peel the skins off and you get a real smooth sauce, and then I actually save the skins and I cook them over low heat, just super low, for several hours with some mushrooms and peppers and ground beef, and that makes a really nice chunky sauce that I like to use for things with like ravioli or other baked pasta dishes. And so it actually uses the entire tomato, which is nice. You're not throwing all those skins away, you can actually use them. But right now we're just gonna freeze them. So they've been washed, we're gonna freeze them. Don't have to do anything except every once in a while you get one like this. It's kind of yucky. We're gonna cut off the nasty part, so we don't want that in our sauce. And let's do it now, and so later we can get right to making sauce in the fall. And I will just put this in the freezer, and then when this bag is filled all the way up, I'll start a new one, move this one to the deep freezer, start another one in the indoor freezer. You will notice I am using actual Ziploc, not my reusable silicone bags, and the only reason for that is I will run out of bags quickly if I'm freezing all my tomatoes in them, because we will get tons of tomatoes in a couple of weeks. It's going to get really heavy on the harvest. So peppers and cucumbers. I made a big batch of sweet and spicy cucumbers yesterday, and it used a whole lot of jalapenos, so I just have a few left. So sometimes with the jalapenos I'll dice them and freeze them. These I'm actually going to use for dinner tomorrow night, so we'll leave them. I do can peppers as well, but I wait until my bell peppers come in, which should be another couple weeks, and then I can jars of mixed peppers, and I love using those for meatloafs and omelets and casseroles. I just like having them mixed though, so you get a little bit of spice, but it's not like burn your face off hot, which could be if you can the jalapenos by themselves. So today I'm going to make dill pickles with the cucumbers I have left, because I have a whole bunch. But dill pickles actually have to sit in a brine, so we're going to start the brine. You won't get to see the finished product in this video because it's going to take a few days. But that's what these are headed to.
I'm a big kid.
You are a big kid. And then the last thing is my onion tops, which I actually already processed and didn't take video of. I apologize.
Mommy, I don't like them. Ugh.
Stop, JJ.
And then we have
No,
the
they've seen those. They've seen those. So all I do is I dice the tops off my onions when I harvest the onions, and then I freeze them on a cookie sheet, and then I put them in these bags, and I use them just as I cook. Anywhere you would use an onion, and the nice thing is it's already diced for you, and the flavor's just a little bit lighter. So don't throw those onion tops away. Okay, so we have done lots of zucchini. We made zucchini bread, pickles, frozen tomatoes, frozen onion tops, talked about the peppers. We did blackberries first thing this morning. We also are harvesting green beans now, but it's the very beginning of the season for those too. I planted them a little late. So right now we're just eating them as we harvest them, and then probably another week we're going to have a really big picking, and I'll start canning those, which probably doesn't surprise anybody. So the last thing I have is half of a ginormous zucchini. Now you're supposed to pick zucchini before they get this large, but I had a couple that just got away from me. And so I've actually found that with these really big zucchini is that you can use them just like an eggplant because they're a little bit tougher. So we're actually going to use this for dinner tonight. We're going to chop it up, and then we're going to bread it and fry it and then bake it like an eggplant Parmesan. It's really good, and nobody really notices that it's not actually eggplant, that it's zucchini, because these really big zucchinis have that same texture. A little tip, fry up the extras, freeze them on a baking sheet, and then pop them in a Ziploc bag. And now I have enough of my faux fried eggplant that I can make it again, you know, in a few weeks when I need an easy dish. Just pop out the frozen ones and put some pasta sauce and cheese on top and bake it, and then we're good to go. Okay, we have done it all. Let me show you what we have been able to put up, just to give you an idea how all of this time investment is worth it as far as saving a lot of money and feeding your family. So from what we had today, we've got 5 pints of hot and sweet pickles. We have 13 quarts of canned zucchini, so that's lots of meals with side dishes. Plus we made dinner tonight, which is almost done. Whoop, foggy. And froze enough for dinner another night this week. And made a loaf of zucchini bread. Little tip here, I save my bread bags from store-bought bread, and then I use them to freeze banana and zucchini loaves. They don't last as long as a Ziploc, obviously, as far as freezer burn protection, but these loaves of bread, I'll make them and then I'll use them in about a month, so that's not even a concern. So just reduces, this is gonna go in the trash anyway, so I'm giving it an extra life before it gives there. We have dill pickles brining, and this will be another 5 to 6 pints of pickles. And then in the freezer, we have a whole gallon here of frozen blackberries. We have another started gallon of frozen tomatoes, which will make sauces in the fall. We have lots of chopped onion tops, which I can use in place of onions in any recipe, and it's great just to have them. All of that stuff we've grown here on the farm and it'll provide good and nutritious meals for my family through the winter. So in some ways providing a really good amount of food security for my family no matter what crazy pandemic, epidemic, government shutdown, whatever wants to come our way. Our canning pantry will be very well stocked with a large variety of items. May not be all of our favorites, but nobody will be hungry. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you soon with a new mudroom update. It is coming along awesome, and I'm so excited to show you the finished product. And also be showing you that 6-month baking and dry goods food haul to give you an idea of how we save a lot of money and store all of that stuff in a limited amount of space. So stay tuned. See you soon.